Yep.
Start off with your Elmo
Hey, welcome gamers. This is Mel with Guys, Games, and Beer. We are still here at Gamehole Con 11, bringing you another interview. Not live. We're recording. Never mind. And I'm here with.
We are
technically
live.
live and alive.
Oh.
True.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Houser, and I paint miniatures over in Hall A. Okay. The miniatures should be showing up on the screen.
You can still play with them, just can't
Some
move
of the ones
plate.
I've done.
Chaos. Welcome to
Right.
Chaos Hole Con.
Well,
Yeah,
you should play with them while we talk.
Technical
Okay.
difficulties beyond our control, and Larry.
Anyway, here we are. We are talking about miniatures with you.
yes,
How long have you been coming to Game Hall?
since the second
Yes.
Gamehole Con.
And painting miniatures since then.
Yes,
Yeah.
since then I started by bringing my own to paint for myself, and people started coming up to me and saying, "Hey, if you, would you paint my miniatures, or can I buy the ones that you're already painting?" And I'm like, "Sure, that would be fine." And then they were like, "What's the price?" And I had no idea, so I started really low, and then I actually had other painters, professional ones, come up to me and say, "Hey, you're way lowballing all of
How
us."
dare you?
So I have raised the price since then, not a ton, but
Yeah.
Get in while it's still lower than others. Wink,
Right.
wink.
so it's if you bring your own miniature, it's only $20 for me to paint it, and I'll
Okay.
paint it whatever you want me to make it look like.
Wow.
Some people bring in their pictures of their characters, or others will just tell me what colors they want the hair, the eyes, like even sometimes lipstick. People will tell me what color they want.
Wow.
And with animals, you can tell me different kinds of animals. Like over there, I had a rat, a regular, just plain rat, and he just took that.
That's Larry. That's not a rat. Oh,
and a badger,
rat.
and it's a Wisconsin badger instead of the European type.
show the badger. Well, now he took the badger.
Yep.
He's examining it slowly.
Yeah.
There is a badger. Trust us.
Right.
He's examining the rat and the badger very
and
carefully.
Like they there
chaos,
is
I think I
sorry. Sorry. Too busy watching him play with my miniatures.
And there's like a portal disc or something
Yeah,
over
there's
there.
a portal disc over there, and it's two-sided. One side is blue. That's the one that's up right now. And then if you flip it
And the
over, it's
portal
red.
disc is two-sided.
Yeah. And you
Hey,
flip
you
it
got it.
over,
There
it
we go.
turns red.
Thank you, Vanna.
Right?
Oh. Active, deactive.
Yep.
You have been painting miniatures for different sets. People bring you things.
Yes,
Like, what are some
I-
things you've done?
I have done a bunch of Marvel United, which was a Kickstarter a few years ago, and every so often they have a new set come out, and so I have people bring me. I've probably done about hundreds of those in the sets, and I've also done Robotech, and I've done Star Trek miniatures. I've done the Dungeons and Dragons role-playing board game. Descent is what it's called. And I've done them to look exactly like the pictures. I've done
Wow.
Talisman, the old school Talisman with the miniatures. I've even done the fairies to look exactly like the fairies, which are just extremely tiny. I pretty much do it all.
What's the process? Where do you start? How do you proceed?
Well, that's a lot. You're
yeah.
painting tons of miniatures at a time.
Right. So any that I have that are going to be about the similar colors, first I'll do everybody's faces, because that's just the me thing.
So interesting to me because you would think you would do the face last.
Well, then
right.
they have instant personality. They
Right,
have their
and-
own
and
face,
that's-
I guess.
it
Never
does-
thought of it that way.
Yeah. It helps me figure out what I'm going to do for the rest of them, especially if people give me license to do what I whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you think that'd be easier, but sometimes it's harder because it's like, well, I got to make it look cool. What am I going to do?
But they haven't given me any guidance of what
Right.
they
Dip
want,
'em
what they're
all
willing
in
to pay
blue and be
for.
like, there you go. They're blue.
Yeah.
Can't go that far. No, I'm always very intricate. I try my hardest. I swear. Um,
Well, obviously, you not just try hard, you succeed because
Yeah.
people still bring you them.
yeah.
They buy
Yeah,
your
for 9
miniatures
years.
that you've painted.
Yes, since the
That's
first
amazing.
since the
Do you-
first con, they bring back every year. They'll bring me some saying, "Hey, I want you to paint some more for me." And every year I get new people saying, "Oh, last year you painted one for me, and I
Here's
would like
10 more.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
What about those hard to do things like eyes and like the shadowy crevices and like cloak folds and things like that?
Yeah. Tips
Okay.
for beginning.
Yeah, if you're just
Miniature
starting
artist.
out in miniatures, I would say get your basic colors down first. Try to get as close to the edges as you can without hitting the other. And if you can't quite do it, that's fine. Just do a wash over it, which is typically a wash is just a color you choose, diluted in some water, and you just brush that over it, like black or brown or whatever color. Like
Some
sometimes
kind of instant shadows
Yeah,
and depth
it-
and
it creates instant shadows, and like if you have a character that you're not good at eyes, it usually will make them look like they're looking down, so you can't see the eyes because it'll end up covering
Mine
that.
always look like this.
And if you don't think you can get the washes right, which sometimes it's okay to do, and sometimes it does take a little bit of finagling.
Sure.
They do have pre-made washes for paints, so you can get that.
so super technical question. Have you ever made your own brushes?
I have not made my own brushes, but I am pretty picky about my brushes. I like the ones with the fatter handles, typically, because for me, most people hold their brushes like a pen.
Sure.
I hold it more like a chopstick. I don't know.
Interesting.
I need it looser for myself. So
Interesting.
I like the thicker brushes, and then I have, of course, multiple
Trying to figure
sizes,
out how I
but
mine.
the best size for small details is the 005, or the other way they put it is sometimes just 4 zeros on the brush,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and those ones are easier to get the eyes
And that's
things.
almost down to like
Tiny.
1 to 3 or 1 to 5
Yeah, it's
strands.
just a few strands on there. Yeah, and I do like those shorter,
Yes.
the smaller
Well, it has to
strand
be
ones.
stiff enough that you can actually.
Right, because
You don't
yeah,
want it to
otherwise
spread
it's
out
Yeah.
and then
Mhm.
whatever
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
do.
And if you want to do eyes but you're not good at it, you can start off with toothpicks
Mm-hmm.
or those little tiny micron pens, which are also 005 ones,
Mhm.
and you just dot them on there, and that works great.
What's been some of your favorite characters?
Oh, geez. I did this. I have done this really weird and gross worm type creature that's kind of like the
Love it.
Tremors
Oh, yeah.
worms, but it had like human colored skin with like green, and that one was super fun for me. And it was because I don't
So
get to do
different.
horror
Yeah,
stuff that
yeah.
often. But
Cool.
I love doing faces. Most people hate that part, but that's my favorite part. Uh, yeah, when I first started, my husband brought home the set, and he's like, "Let's sit down and do this together." And I was like, "Okay." And he finished painting his way before I did, and he's like, "Yeah, it looks pretty good, doesn't it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it does. It looks really good." And then he looks at mine and goes, "Why are you taking so long?" And I'm like, "Well, I can't get the blush right and the lipstick." And he's like, "Wait, you're doing that?" And then he looked at my miniature and he goes, "Okay, I guess you're painting all of our miniatures from now on."
I
'cause-
can't get it right either, and all mine look like Ronald McDonald.
Are super like pixelated.
Right. That's another good thing for shaders. If the colors are too bright, it can dull down the colors a
Okay,
little.
that makes sense.
In that vein, like if you're going to use, how do you decide between like a black and a brown wash? Can you do a blue wash? Is that
Yeah,
like a
certainly,
like a knife?
yeah, like
shadowy type of
if you're
thing?
doing armor and you want it to look really shiny, a blue wash is great.
Ooh.
Or you can even
tip.
do, like if it's a dark colored armor, or sorry, a light colored armor, and you want it to look slightly dark in the crevices, you can do like silver, and then the wash, you do like a steel color, and it will make
Oh,
those
yeah, yeah,
crevices
yeah.
darker.
That's cool.
Mhm.
That sounds really cool. I might have to go paint a miniature.
Right?
I feel
Yeah,
like
I
I've
mean-
inspired
I mean,
now.
you're right
Thank
next to the
you.
paint
I
tank.
know.
Verified.
So where can we find you here at
Uh,
Gamehole?
I'm in Hall A. I'm on the left-hand side, almost to the end, way down at the end.
Okay.
My booth is the same booth as Dan Houser. That's my husband.
We don't have to talk about him right now. This is
No.
all about you.
I'm sure he talked about himself enough in his own interview.
We love that.
Oh,
He's
he talked
great.
about so many things you probably don't want to know what he talked about.
Oh,
but
probably not. Probably not. But I
Gray
will watch
areas.
it later and say something. No, I'm just kidding.
Tell him
So-
what. You shouldn't have said that.
so we can bring you miniatures that we buy here
Yes,
to paint.
you can bring
we
your
can buy
own.
your pre-painted
I
miniatures.
have pre-painted ones, and I also have a stack of non-painted ones that if you can't find one here at the con that you like, I
Oh.
might have one at my booth
Okay.
that you might like.
Do you sell paint kits?
So I do not sell paint kits, but I can certainly tell you what colors you'll need to buy
Okay.
if you don't want to buy a kit, if you have a specific thing in mind for your own.
Okay.
And also the people at the paint and take are very nice and will do that for you as well.
Very cool.
Talk about the pricing there. What if I have like a treant, as opposed to like as tall as a beer can, as opposed to a standard miniature that's like
Okay.
this big.
If it's your standard miniature, it's 20. If it's bigger like that, it's usually about 30. And then if it's bigger than that, it depending on
Yeah,
it,
the
it
detail
goes
too.
up
Yeah.
by probably about $10 per
Inch.
2 inches.
Okay.
$10 per 2 inches.
'Cause, I mean, I have to
That's
pay
his going rate too.
Cat's out of the bag.
I mean, I do have to buy more paint. You know.
So do I.
Do you have a website? Any other online presence that we should?
I do
promote
not have
here?
my own website, but I do take commissions and send them in the mail
Okay.
through my husband
Perfect.
at Dan Houser Illustrator. He also gets a bunch of people calling me for miniatures, and my phone number is also on the card, and you
Mhm.
can leave me
We'll put
a
those
text
links down below.
message.
Give the money directly to her, not to Dan.
Actually, it usually goes to his PayPal, so it's okay. I just tell him, hey, I just got a commission, and that money's mine.
At least, yeah, right.
Cough
At
it
least
up,
he
buddy.
knows what it's for.
Right, he'll be like, hey,
All
somebody
right.
just paid me. And I'm like, no, they just paid me.
All right. So you know where to find her. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for being on the show. Really
Mhm.
appreciate you. And if you tune into another future live episode of Guys, Games, and Beer here at Gamehole, you'll see her paint me. Because I'm told I'm a miniature.
We've got a whole set, so it looks like she's on a paper plate with a top-down camera.
Right.
Don't forget the badger.
That's how it's gonna,
Oh, and a badger next to her.
right?
It's Larry. Larry the badger.
Oh, wait, what?
All right. Well, thanks
All
for
right.
tuning
Thank
in.
See you
Bye.
later.
Gamehole Con
Oh,
11
Guys, Games,
with
and Beer at
Stephanie
Gamehole
Houser.
Con
At Gamehole
11.
Mayhem
Lion Energy Center. You
Miniature.
should be here.